Participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are LCMTV.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
Good afternoon. This is LCM TV News at noon. We're not your normal news. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
Thank you for joining us this morning, or this afternoon. A youth group meeting at a garden in Turkey's southeastern city of Surak, near the Syrian border, turned to a scene of bloodied bodies and terror as an explosion caused by an apparent suicide bomber killed 28 people and injured nearly 100 others on Monday. The midday blast occurred in the garden of the Omara Cultural Center. Graphic photos and video on social media show bloodied bodies lying on the ground. About 200 young people were staying at the center to assist in rebuilding work in the nearby Syrian town of Kobani. The private Turkish news agency, DHA, said they're part of a political group, the Federation of Socialist Youth, holding a news conference on Kobani's reconstruction. There is no immediate claim of responsibility for the blast, but a Turkish official said authorities have evidence that the attack was a suicide bombing and suspect the Islamic State group, or ISIS, initiated it. Fatma Edmond, 22, said the federation of about 200 youths was pressing for access to help reconstruction in Kobani when the bomb exploded. A second bomb went off Monday south of Kobani near a Kurdish militia checkpoint on the road to Syria's largest city of Aleppo. It caused minor damage and no casualties. Kobani was also the scene of a surprise ISIS attack last month that killed more than 200 people.
On Sunday, Donald Trump declined to apologize for his comments about war veteran and Arizona GOP Senator John McCain, suggesting the backlash is being fueled by fellow Republican presidential candidates trailing him in the polls. On Saturday, Trump acknowledged that McCain, a former Navy fighter pilot who spent 5.5 years as a prisoner during the Vietnam War, was indeed a war hero, but only because he was captured. The feud between Trump and McCain appeared to have started during a recent event in Phoenix, Arizona, that swelled to 1,500 people, many apparently energized by Trump suggesting that he would, if elected, build a wall along the southern U.S. border and that some Mexicans coming into the country are rapists and drug dealers. McCain, whom Trump financially backed in his failed 2008 presidential bid, called the attendees crazies, which upset Trump, who called for an apology. Most of the 14 other GOP candidates have condemned Trump's remarks about McCain and are calling for Trump to quit the race. Trump also repeated earlier criticism about McCain failing to use his elected position of power to improve the troubled Department of Veterans Affairs so that veterans could get better health care without the exceedingly long waits.
Last time I checked, I don't think Mr. Trump served in the military.
Yeah, no.
The Obama administration wants to keep people collecting Social Security benefits from owning guns if it is determined they are unable to manage their own affairs. The push, which could potentially affect millions those whose monthly disability payments are handled by others, is intended to bring the Social Security Administration in line with laws that prevent gun sales to felons, drug addicts, immigrants in the United States illegally, and others. The language of federal gun laws restrict ownership to people who are unable to manage their own affairs due to marked subnormal intelligence or mental illness, incompetency, condition, or disease, which could potentially affect a large group within Social Security. If Social Security, which has never taken part in the background check system, uses the same standards as the Department of Veteran Affairs, then millions of beneficiaries could be affected, with about 4.2 million adults receiving monthly benefits that are managed by representative payees.
The Environmental Protection Agency for years has issued costly clean air rules based in part on two 90s era studies linking air pollution with death. But critics say the agency has stymied efforts to access the data behind them. The transparency concerns have Republican lawmakers on a new campaign to end the use of what they dub secret science. House Science Committee Chairman Lamar Smith, Republican from Texas, is amongst those pushing legislation to bar the use of secret science for EPA regulations, namely Clean Air Act rules that Republicans say are based on research hidden from public view. The bill was passed in the House and now awaits action on the Senate floor. For its part, the EPA has argued that releasing the data could compromise confidential personal information and that it didn't have access to all the research anyway, amongst other issues. The agency made an effort to contact the original institutions behind the studies in 2013, but Republicans say they again would not hand over everything. During last week's hearing, McCarthy questions why lawmakers have focused on this and why anyone would want to seek out this kind of granular information. The Republican legislation, called the Secret Science Reform Act of 2015, would bar the EPA from issuing certain rules unless all relevant research is named and publicly available for those who want it. The Secret Science Reform Act passed out of the EPW committee in April. It is sponsored by Senator John Barrasso, a Republican from Wyoming, on the Senate side and Smith on the House side, where it passed 241 to 175 in March. A similar measure was passed as an amendment last week to a House appropriations bill. The White House, though, has already threatened to veto the bill, and it's unclear whether Republicans can muster enough votes to override should it pass the Senate as well.
More than a half century of Cold War and lingering enmity came to an abrupt end but quiet end on Monday as the United States and Cuba restored full diplomatic relations. The new era began with little fanfare when an agreement between the two nations to resume normal ties on July 20th came into force just after midnight Sunday, and the diplomatic missions of each country were upgraded from interest sections to embassies. When clocks struck 12 in Washington and Havana, they tolled a knell for policy approaches spawned and hardened over the last 5 decades since President John F. Kennedy first tangled with youthful revolutionary Fidel Castro over Soviet expansion into the Americas. And yet, through normalization that's taken center stage in the U.S.-Cuba relationship, there remains a deep ideological gulf between the nations and many issues still to resolve. Among them, thorny disputes such as over mutual claims for economic reparations, Havana's insistence on the end of a 53-year-old trade embargo, and U.S. calls for Cuba to improve on human rights and democracy. Some U.S. lawmakers, including several prominent Republican presidential candidates, have vowed not to repeal the embargo and pledged to roll back Obama's moves on Cuba. Obama's efforts and engagement were frustrated for years by Cuba's imprisonment of U.S. Agency for International Development contractor Alan Gross on espionage charges. But months of secret negotiations led in December to Gross's release, along with a number of political prisoners in Cuba and the remaining members of a Cuban spy ring jailed in the United States. On December 17th, Obama and Cuban President Raul Castro announced they would resume full diplomatic relations, declaring the long-standing policy a failure that has not achieved any of its intended results. Obama declared the U.S. could not keep doing the same thing and expect to change. Thus, he said work would begin apace on normalization. Both interest sections have technically operated as part of Switzerland's embassies in Washington and Havana. The Swiss also were caretakers for the former American embassy and ambassador's residence from 1961 to 1977, when the U.S. had no diplomatic presence in the country at all.
A surfing champion survived a shark attack on live TV yesterday. Australian Mick Fanning was competing in the finals of South Africa's J-Bay Open when a familiar-looking fin popped up behind him. Fanning was just sitting there and was just about to start moving when he felt something grab and got stuck in his leg rope. He instantly jumped up and kept coming at the board. Fanning saw fins and was waiting for the teeth. The J-Bay Open ended in a cancellation with Fanning and his finals opponent Julian Wilson splitting the points and prize money. The World Surf League said there were 2 sharks and that Fanning and Wilson were rescued by jet skis. Yeah, scary.
Yeah.
We'll be back with your regional news.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
And welcome back. In regional news, State Assemblyman Bill Dodd announced today he is a candidate for the State Senate in District 3. The 3rd Senate District includes all of Napa and Solano counties, as well as portions of the Contra Costa, Sacramento, Sonoma, and Yolo counties. It includes the cities of Petaluma, Cotati, Runner Park, Sonoma, Pleasant Hill, don't laugh at me, Martinez, American Canyon, Calistogo, Napa, St. Helena, okay guys, Yountville, Benicia, Dixon, Fairfield, Rio Vista, Suisun City, Vacaville, Vallejo, Davis, Winters, Woodland, and Iselton. Those are a hell of a lot of cities. God, guys.
So you didn't grow up in the Bay Area like I did.
No,
That's
sorry,
the
guys.
problem here.
Dodd's announcement included an event featuring over 200 local leaders who support his election to the Senate. They included elected county supervisors, city council members, sheriff, district attorneys, and other local office holders, as well as Congressman Mike Thompson. Dodd told the audience, "I'm proud to announce my candidacy for the State Senate District 3. The centerpiece of my campaign is to restore economic security and opportunity for middle-class Californians. I'm running for all the people who are concerned about the California that we are passing on to future generations, and for our young people who face greater uncertainty than we had. We all want a top-quality education, a good wage, and a retirement we can live on. I believe there's a real opportunity to move California forward in these areas." Dodd is a Democrat from Napa County. After a successful 25-year business career, Dodd served 4 terms on the Napa County Board of Supervisors and currently represents the 4th Assembly District.
What about Lake County?
He left us.
Oh yeah,
He wants to
Lake County
leave
was
us.
not in that list.
No, it wasn't. That one I could have pronounced. Okay, next.
Clover Stornetta Farms, based in Petaluma, is recalling some of its 2% reduced fat milk because it might contain tiny pieces of food-grade plastic. It's a voluntary recall on the gallon, half-gallon, and quart-sized 2% milk. The milk was distributed throughout Northern California and has a lot code of July 29th. Customers can return it for a full refund. No complaints have been reported so far, and no other Clover items have been recalled. The company is urging customers to contact them at askclo@cloverstornetta.com if they have any questions.
You know, if they drank organic milk, they wouldn't have to worry about that.
It's still plastic.
Eh,
They still use plastic.
no, whatever. Martin Martinez has been booked for suspicion of murder in the deaths of 3 children and 2 adults whose bodies were found in a California home on Saturday. All 5 victims were female and related. The children's ages range from 6 months to 6 years old. Detectives named Martinez, 30, of Modesto, a person of interest early into the investigation. Police said he had a previous relationship with one of the women found dead in the house and was the biological father of one of the children. Officers responded to a request to conduct a welfare check on the home, discovered the bodies on Saturday afternoon. Modesto police initially asked the public for help finding Martinez, but sent a tweet around 2:30 a.m. that he had been located by officers in San Jose, where police said he had family. The San Jose police initially located the vehicle Martinez was reported to be driving, but found it empty. Police then zeroed in on a different vehicle and found it in a small parking lot at 12:47 a.m. In a mall parking lot at 12:47 a.m. Sunday morning, again unoccupied. Officers arrested the suspect Martinez as he was heading back to the vehicle.
Authorities were working Sunday to recover the body of a drowning victim near the confluence of the Sacramento and American rivers, marking the 5th drowning in the same popular but dangerous stretch of river in the last 3 weeks. Fire officials say the victim was a 24-year-old man believed drowned after entering the Sacramento River side of Tesornia Beach around 12:30 p.m. yesterday. Officials didn't release or confirm the victim's name. Tesornia Beach and Discovery Park are local staples for people cooling off on hot days, with many summer afternoons resembling a large backyard barbecue. Yet the area is once again showing its dangerous side as a combination of debris, steep drop-offs in the riverbed, and a swirling current have proven deadly. With more than 2 months of summer left, the Sacramento area is headed for an above-average year for river drownings. The region averages 8 drowning deaths annually on its waterways, and the prevalence of local river drownings has inspired a push for more safety measures, including city and county ordinances that require children under 13 to wear life vests. Free life vests are already distributed by the American River Park Foundation at 6 access points, but lifeguards trained in swiftwater rescue are not posted along the rivers, which officials said was due to the significant expense for Sacramento County's park system. The largest cluster of river drownings has been concentrated at the Tesornia and Discovery Parks and the site of Sunday's drowning. That means even if lifeguards were posted there, they would still have to manage the river's unpredictable currents and cold, murky waters. Harvey said emergency personnel, including members of the drowning accident rescue team from the Sacramento County Sheriff Department, spent about 80 minutes trying to rescue the missing man but changed tactics when they failed to find him. Harvey said it could take 2 or 3 days to find the body. A diver, Robert Green, said visibility of just 2 to 3 feet in a fast-moving current were impeding the search.
A rare summer storm Saturday helped firefighters advance a wildfire that swept across the California interstate, torching vehicles and sending people running for their lives before burning property in a desert town. Light rain and moist air dampened the blaze that began Friday afternoon in the mountainous Cajon Pass, 55 miles northeast of Los Angeles, the main route connecting Southern California and Las Vegas. The fire was sparked below the elevated lines of Interstate 15. Pushed by 40-mile-an-hour winds, it raced up a hill and onto traffic-clogged freeway, trapping hundreds of people amid a cauldron of smoke, flames, and ash. Drivers and their passengers abandoned their cars as flames hopscotched down the freeway, destroying 20 vehicles, several of which exploded in fireballs. As firefighters gained control of the freeway, the flames spread to the rural community of Baldy Mesa, destroying 3 homes and 44 vehicles and forcing residents in the area to flee. Evacuation orders for residents were lifted Saturday afternoon as firefighters contained 45% of the blaze. In all, the fire burned about 8.5 square miles. Amazingly, only 2 people were injured. Both suffered minor smoke inhalation, authorities said, but they declined medical attention. It being a Friday afternoon, however, Interstate 15 was typically jammed with vehicles traveling between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Adding to the congestion was construction work in the area. Los Angeles Times reported that 3,500-acre North Fire had shut down the Interstate 15 Friday, with 60% contained by Sunday morning.
Hope they had comprehensive coverage on their cars. That's unfortunate.
I screwed up the numbers.
Fox News television host Bill O'Reilly sent an anonymous reporter to San Francisco on Tuesday to approach local politicians about the tragic murder of Catherine Steinle at Pier 14. A segment on last night's O'Reilly Factor shows 2 supervisors immediately brushing off the television network while one delivered a terse response. A day after interviewing Steinle's parents, O'Reilly blamed San Francisco's liberal policies and its sanctuary city status for the 32-year-old woman's death. He pointed a finger at the city's, quote, liberal supervisors, saying they are unrepentant over the death of Kate Steinle. O'Reilly's staff contacted the city's supervisors for interviews and all declined, and that's when he decided to send a reporter to track down the local politicians at work and on the street. Fox News first approached Supervisor Jane Kim, who said, "I think the issue here is gun control." Next, the interviewer confronted Supervisor Katie Tang on the street. Walking away, Tang said, "Of course Fox News would be this rude."
Sorry.
As the reporter followed her and fired off more questions, she told him, "You're interviewing the wrong effing person." That's pretty awesome.
That's internet, we can say that.
Finally, Fox approached Supervisor Weiner at City Hall saying, "I don't want to be a pest, but it's just literally a minute." Weiner quickly cut off the interview saying, "Fox News is not real news and you're not a reporter." Fox News pressed, "We want to know if you show remorse. Are you upset that the president didn't reach out to the family?" Weiner reiterated, "Fox News is not real news." And is it Weiner? I thought it was the guy in the scandal. Okay.
Yeah.
No, different guy.
Oh,
Different
okay.
mayor.
And then Weiner shut his office. He's a whiner.
It is a
He
whiner,
shut
right?
his office door in the reporter's face.
Whining about a wiener?
And Weiner told San Francisco Gate that, quote, Tea Party members are flooding him with messages criticizing him for dismissing the media. "Anyone in San Francisco knows that's not who I am," Weiner told SF Gate. "Even local journalists who I disagree with know that I'm accessible. I'm always willing to talk to them to advance the narrative of a story, but I'm not going to talk to Fox because their goal is not to get the facts right. They're using this terrible tragedy to fuel immigration policy. They're a propaganda machine, and I'm not going to be a part of that."
You know, we should get O'Reilly to send a reporter up here to Lake County.
All right.
Yes,
Are we?
we'll be back.
We'll be
Yeah,
back with
take
your
a
local
break.
news.
There you go.
Okay.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
And we're back with your local news. 2 people were killed and 2 others injured early yesterday morning in a stabbing on Meadow Lane in 2 miles north of downtown Laytonville by a 19-year-old man sleeping in the home. The suspect, Talon Clark Barton, who was previously in foster care, awoke at approximately 12:15 a.m. and, for reasons currently unknown, chose a 12-inch knife from the kitchen of the residence and proceeded to enter the bedroom of a 17-year-old boy at the home, stabbing him in what was described as a very violent struggle, according to Sheriff Tom Allman, who spoke at a press conference Sunday afternoon, calling the incident a gruesome scene. A 54-year-old woman who heard the initial commotion came to the boy's aid, at which point Barton attacked the woman. She is listed in critical but stable condition at a nearby hospital. Barton continued to the brutality by attacking and killing a 52-year-old man in the home after stabbing him in the chest near the heart before chasing 2 other 17-year-old girls down the stairs of the residence, who screamed and alerted an additional 52-year-old man who was subsequently stabbed in the chest and neck area but is expected to survive. After the spree, Barton tied the 2 17-year-old girls up with a cut phone charger he had previously chased downstairs and told them not to call 911 until 8 a.m., when he was supposedly to have transportation out of town. However, the girls talked him out of leaving, and Barton called 911 himself around 12:46 a.m. Upon arrival of the MCSO deputies around 25 minutes later from the Willett substation, the 54-year-old woman was found alive, and a deputy was able to put pressure on her neck wounds, thus saving her life. During Mendocino County Sheriff Office response, Alman said Barton changed his blood-soaked clothing and admitted to deputies after their arrival that when he's not sleeping, he's constantly getting high on marijuana. Additionally, Alman said Barton was quite high upon the Mendocino County Sheriff Office arrival and stated he had smoked marijuana while on the phone with dispatch. Alman said the Sheriff Office had a prior encounter with Barton on January of 2013, but wouldn't disclose the details of that incident since Barton was a juvenile at the time. Alman said the Sheriff Office, the California Department of Justice, and the Mendocino County District Attorney's Office are continuing to investigate. No motive has been established as to why Barton committed the crimes. However, so far the investigation has led law enforcement to believe that in the past 2 weeks, Barton was telling a friend he was planning on killing people. Several of the victims were from Canada and were relatives of the residents. Law enforcement has been in contact with the Canadian Embassy. Barton is being held at the Mendocino County Jail without bail on suspicion of 2 counts of homicide and 2 counts of attempted homicide. Alman said he predicts that Barton will be arraigned Tuesday in the Mendocino County Superior Court. Child Protective Services is providing emergency housing for the 2 17-year-old surviving girls. Alman said Barton wasn't originally from Mendocino County and said he was unaware of how long he was here locally. At the time of the crime, Alman said that all he knew about Barton's residential status was that he was sleeping at the home, but investigators have learned he was staying at the residence as part of a foster care situation. Alman said he wasn't going to discuss any of the victims at the home were Barton's foster parents. The names of the victims are being withheld pending next of kin notification, but are expected to be released.
I know it's a very sad story, but I've never heard of anyone high on marijuana being violent.
No,
That's
this
a
is
very
going to bring
strange
out the
story.
politics in everybody,
Now we know the
unfortunately.
Yeah, but we know the
It's gonna
sheriff's
get political.
anti-marijuana anyway, so.
Violent to the fridge.
Yeah.
On July 16th at approximately 4 p.m., the Clear Lake Police Department was dispatched to 13,000 block of Napa Street in Clear Lake Park for 2 males that were in a physical altercation. According to Sergeant Hobbs of the Clear Lake Police Department, the officers arrived to find 2 male subjects separated. At the time, neither party desired prosecution for assault or battery charges on the other. However, 24-year-old Clear Lake resident Roderick Wynn, a convicted felon, was found to be in possession of 1/2 ounce of methamphetamine. I can never pronounce that, folks. Methamphetamine, and a loaded handgun. Sorry, folks, I don't do that drugs. He was taken into custody at the time of Clear Lake Police Officer Cook and booked into the Lake County Jail on several charges, consisting of misdemeanor possession of a loaded firearm in public, misdemeanor possession of controlled substance, misdemeanor possession of a drug paraphernalia, felony possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, felony possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, felony possession of a concealed firearm, and felony possession of a controlled substance for sale. Wynn's bail is currently $25,000 and he is still in custody at this time. Public records show that he had been arrested 5 times prior to this incident in Lake County for crimes that include, but not limited to, attempted gross bodily injury, first-degree burglary, and false imprisonment.
Why is he on his
Nice guy.
What a winner. A classified ad was seen in the Lake County Record Bee.
Speaking of winners,
Speaking of winners, here's another one. A classified ad was seen in the Lake County Record Bee on July 16th asking for a bride. The ad states, "Wife needed." In parentheses, I'm serious. Must be 18 years old, any race under 5'5". Send telephone number, no pictures, to, and we're going to leave it out, the P.O. Box number in Clear Lake 95422. We believe you should be aware of who this individual is. A reverse address check brings up a 72-year-old Clear Lake man with a criminal history of violence and threats of violence who has been arrested more than once by the Clear Lake Police Department. Please be aware of these types of classifieds, as you never know who you could be meeting up with or sending your information to. And while there is no confirmation that the person who owns this box is the person who placed the ad, it seems very suspect and caution is advised.
Why would he care what the height is?
he
Not
wants
very-
a little girl.
I guess.
He wants, yeah.
Okay.
He wants a petite.
Petite young lady?
Yes.
Okay. Jonathan W. Davies, a physician who admits patients to Sutter Lakeside Hospital, was arrested this week on one charge of inflicting corporal injury to an intimate partner. The Lake County Sheriff's Office responded to a call on Monday night at 10:45 p.m. Davies was booked less than an hour later on a felony charge. Authorities released little information other than that Davies was allegedly involved in a physical dispute. He was later released on a $25,000 bond. Dr. Davies of Lakeport has practiced in obstetrics and gynecology for 29 years with no history of sanctions or board actions against him. We are aware of Dr. Jonathan Davies' arrest Monday evening by the Lake County Sheriff's Department, Siri Nelson, Chief Administrative Officer at Sutter Lakeside, said. We have made arrangements with other physicians to ensure no interruption of patient care while Dr. Davies takes a voluntary time off from the hospital. Under California law, willful infliction of corporal injury may be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony. The latter carries a potential sentence of up to 4 years in state prison. Davies faces a September 15th court date.
He's my doctor.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I like the guy, but who knows what happened, you know. At approximately 6 p.m. Tuesday, July 14th, Kelseyville resident Jesse Gonzalez reported that his red Ford Excursion was missing from the Kmart parking lot on Main Street in Lakeport. Approximately 5 hours later, the car was found by CHP on Sulphur Bank Road in Clear Lake Oaks. It had been totaled. Gonzalez also reported that Pomo Dance Regalia his children danced in was missing. He was very upset about that. On July 16th, Gonzalez had an update for us. Today my truck was totaled out and I'm not getting 1 penny from my insurance because I only had liability and it did not cover stolen cars. I'm not sure what to do as that was my only car. It has been hard trying to get to work with me and my 4 kids. He later updated us saying that the 2 suitcases that contained the costumes had been found. Someone called me from Century Market on Highway 20 and said they found them on a dirt road. They were up hiking and found all the costumes scattered around. Inside my son's suitcases was my phone number. They actually took me up there and I found all my mail and they didn't ask for anything in return. They were 2 really nice guys and very sincere. My children are so happy to have their costumes back. According to other Pomo members, this is not the first incident of stolen costumes. Another Clear Lake woman whose children and grandchildren are Pomo stated that they have been seeing Pomo dance costumes online after they come up missing. Members of the Pomo Nation would like you to keep in mind that these costumes take hours to make, are often made by hand, and that it is a great sign of disrespect to steal them and sell them or to purchase stolen costumes. In fact, they are not meant to be sold at all. As the security cameras did not reach that far in the parking lot of the night of the theft, Jesse Gonzalez has asked if anyone knows who took his car or saw it being taken, and if so, please contact the local law enforcement.
Friends of Outlet Creek are asking the public to come forward to stop an asphalt plant along the tributary to the Eel River. On April 17th, the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors approved a use permit for Grist Creek Aggregates to install a new asphalt plant in the flood area of Outlet Creek. This action bypassed the California Environmental Quality Act and any requirements for a new environmental impact report to assess impacts of this new use on water, endangered species, air quality, traffic, noise, etc. The project site is located within the floodplain of Outlet Creek, one of the last remaining coho salmon supporting watersheds in the main stem of the wild and scenic Eel River. A group of Mendocino County residents came together as Friends of Outlet Creek and filed a lawsuit challenging the asphalt plant in April. Friends of the Eel River has provided a $500 matching donation to help defray the cost of the lawsuit filed on behalf of the Outlet Creek residents. To contribute to the campaign, please send a donation marked for Friends of Outlet Creek to the Willits Environmental Center, 630 South Main Street, Willits, California, 95490, or call 707-459-4110 if you would like to help. They ask that you note Friends of the Eel River match in the check memo.
Interstate 10 in a remote desert area of Southern California was closed late yesterday after heavy rains washed away an elevated portion of the highway, injuring a motorist. The California Highway Patrol confirmed that approximately 30 feet of the roadway is washed away and bridge is gone. The Tex Wash Bridge carries eastbound traffic about 15 feet above a normally dry desert wash about 50 miles west of the Arizona border. Officials said that all traffic on both sides of the highway were closed. The westbound side of the freeway remained intact, but officers had stopped traffic while they tested its stability. A pair of small nearby highways that could possibly serve as detours were also closed. The 10 is a dire situation, California Transportation spokeswoman Terry Kasinga told Riverside Press Enterprise. The Riverside County Fire Department said it had to extract a driver who crashed a pickup truck in the collapse. The person was taken to the hospital with moderate injuries. A passenger from the truck was able to get out without help and was not hurt. The Desert Sun reported that the Tex Wash Bridge, which opened up in 1967, has been listed as functionally obsolete since in the 2014 National Bridge Inventory. The rains came amid a second day of showers and thunderstorms in southern and central California that were setting rainfall records in what was usually a dry month. Saturday's rainfall broke records in at least 11 locations, including 5 places that had the most rain ever recorded on any day in July. Saturday's storm brought flash floods and power outages and turned Los Angeles County's typically packed coast into empty stretches of sand when the threat of lightning forced authorities to close 70 miles of beaches. Meanwhile, the summer storm has helped firefighters advance on 2 wildfires that broke out Friday. And we're going to be back with your weather and sports after this.
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
Good evening. It says evening. Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Gonzalez, bringing you the weather for the next few days. Today's forecast looks generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds, with high temperatures around 95 degrees and winds west-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. There is a 20% chance of rain, although it is not too likely. As for tonight, we'll see a few clouds with a low of 67 degrees. Winds shifting to the south-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday will be quite similar with a high of 94 degrees, with partly cloudy skies and winds continuing to be out of the southwest, maintaining a speed of 10 to 20 miles per hour. Nighttime temperatures will be dropping down to the low 60s, and winds will be steady from the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. When we rejoin you on Wednesday, we'll see just the smallest break with clear skies and temperatures of only 89 degrees. Winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, staying out of the southwest. That's it for now. We'll have another 3-day forecast for you Wednesday here on LCM TV. I'm Amanda Gonzalez, and we'll be back after this brief message.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
And welcome back. In sports this weekend, the Giants played the Arizona Diamondbacks this weekend, sweeping the 3-game series. On Friday, Matt Cain started for the Giants but gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. The Giants found themselves behind after 6 innings but rallied in the 7th with 3 runs to tie the game. The Giants used a throwing error by Arizona shortstop Cliff Pennington in the 12th inning to beat the Diamondbacks 6-5. With the bases loaded and 1 out, Pennington, who entered in the 11th inning, fielded Angel Pagan's bouncer and threw home to try and get the force out. But the throw bounced in front of the plate and got past catcher Wellington Castillo. Ryan Fogelson pitched 2 scoreless innings for his first victory in relief in almost 10 years. On Saturday evening, the Giants beat the Diamondbacks 8-4. Jack Peavy got his first win of the season, and Buster Posey had 3 hits, driving in 4 runs in the Giants' 5th straight win. Peavy twice got the NL's batting average and RBI leader Paul Goldschmidt out with runners in scoring position, once on a bounce to the pitcher and once on a strikeout. Peavy also started San Francisco's 4-run 3rd inning with a single, rounding the base wide and having to scramble to get back to first with his first hit in 2 seasons. On Sunday, a pitching duel between Madison Bumgarner and Patrick Corbin ended in a 2-1 Giant win. Bumgarner did not have his best stuff, but managed to get through 5 innings, even though he gave up only 1 run. The bullpen took it from shutting out Arizona for the rest of the game. The Giants cut the Dodgers' lead to 3.5 games, as the Dodgers won 2 out of 3 games this weekend. Over the weekend, the A's played the Minnesota Twins, winning the last 2 games of the 3-game series. Friday, Oakland lost 5-0. Trevor Plouffe hit a grand slam against All-Star Sonny Gray in the 6th inning after Brian Dozier led off the game with his 20th home run, and Minnesota beat the Oakland Athletics 5-0 Friday night. Erwin Santana allowed 5 hits to improve to 15-6 with a 2.03 ERA in 27 starts against the A's. On Saturday, the A's came back and beat the Twins 3-2 in extra innings behind the pitching of Scott Kazmir. Kazmir went 8 1/3 innings, giving up only 5 hits and 1 run. Stephen Voigt hit a game-ending single in the 10th inning, and Oakland rallied after blowing a lead in the 9th to beat the Minnesota Twins 3-2. On Sunday, the A's slaughtered the Twins by a score of 14-1. The offense was led by Jake Smolinski, who had 3 hits and 4 RBIs, and Josh Reddick, who had another 4 RBIs. Jesse Chavez pitched 6 innings, giving up 3 hits and no runs with 9 strikeouts. The Oakland A's have finally moved out of last place in their division for the first time this season. In golf, the British Open was delayed Sunday due to high winds. The winds were so strong that golf balls on the putting green were literally blown off the green. The Open resumed play this morning with Zach Johnson from the United States and Mark Leishman from Australia tied through 15 holes at 15 under par. 6 other players are within striking distance of the lead.
And in our final word, a man in Cadillac, Michigan had a shocking wake-up call early Wednesday when a knife-wielding intruder insisted they get high together. The unidentified man was sleeping on his couch around 2:30 a.m. when another man woke him up and allegedly said, "You're going to smoke some weed with me right now." Cadillac Police Detective Lieutenant Todd Golnick told the Huffington Post that the intruder was holding a 7-inch blade. According to police, the victim managed the stall and forced pot smoking until the managed to stall the forced pot smoking until the attacker put the knife down. At that point, the victim grabbed the weapon and ran to the next home, where he banged on the door. Golnick said the neighbor, unaware of what happened next door and fearing his own home was being invaded, called 911. Police were then dispatched to the scene. It's a little bit confusing, but the officer saw a man carrying a knife walking towards them and thought it was the invader, Golnick said. But it was the victim, and he quickly explained what had happened in his own house. Officers found the alleged intruder behind the victim's residence, and he had fallen down a steep hill. Seth Lewis, 36, has been taken into custody as a suspect in the case. Lewis was taken to the Wexford County Jail and booked on charges of home invasion, resisting and obstructing police, as well as violating probation. Along with the knife, police found a marijuana pipe. It appears the 2 men were neighbors but did not know one another. It was different because he was armed and engaged the person he saw with an extremely bizarre request, Golnick said. This was extremely random and we don't know what was really going on with this guy. He hasn't cooperated to let us know what his intent really was.
And didn't have any pot on it.
You know, I've never heard of anyone being forced to smoke pot.
That's peer pressure at its finest.
That's our news for today, Monday. Thank you for joining us. Our next live program will be A Positive Light at 3 p.m. this afternoon. And we'll be back on Wednesday, same time, same place, and same internet channel. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
You all have a great day today.
Stay cool.